hand in the palm of my hand. Bad little flex wanna play by the coast. Carry the torch, I'm way up, it's litty wherever we flow. I came from the cold, used to rest on the floor and stitch up my wounds, was born a soldier. Flipping the struggle, I'm taking it worldwide. Hold it down when you talk to me. Say it is what it's supposed to be. Say it loud, but I mean it too, yeah. Talk that good when you talk to me. Say it nice and I give it to you. You know my word is litty wherever we flow. I came from the cold, used to rest on the floor and stitch up my wounds, was born a soldier. Flipping the struggle, I'm taking it worldwide. Hold it down when you talk to me. Say it is what it's supposed to be. Say it loud, but I mean it too, yeah.
Welcome to Dinner with the Coaches. I am one of your hosts, Nadira Lewis, and I have my awesome co-host over here, Thomas Taylor, and we are starting a new year off with new faces, new everything. So I'm excited, Coach Thomas. How was your new year?
Hey, welcome. Well, hey, I'd like to say Happy New Year to everybody. It was uneventful, with this COVID thing out here running rampant. We just kind of bunkered down, stayed low, stayed close to the house because that Omicron out there is running rampant, So we was blessed to make it into 2022. It's exciting, new year, new set of downs, new days. Everything is new and refreshed.
Yes. And we also have an amazing broadcast lined up for you guys today. And as we will continue to this year to continue to bring you new content in business and make sure that you are on your game this year. Make sure you level up this year. If it's something that God has put it in your heart and you have yet to fulfill it, well, guess what? This is the year to start doing it. And Thomas and I make sure that we bring content that's going to help you and make sure that you have all the tools that you need to make sure that you are successful in whatever it is that you're supposed to do this year. So Thomas, you want to talk to them about our amazing guest tonight?
Yeah, definitely. This is a good friend of mine, Mr. Stephen Wick. Comes to everyone with a wealth of information and knowledge on technology as well as tools. He's the CEO of a business he has. It's called Black Business List, where he have compiled a lot of businesses together, to kind of to commingle, coexist, and to share different ideas. He does different symposiums. I was on a symposium one time talking about business, in the new age, things of that nature. So tonight we're going to talk about, you guys, dinner for tonight is what will you do new in 2022? Utilizing tools and technology, right? Because every time we turn around, there's something new, whether it be, TikTok, all these different apps popping up. Well, there's tools, you guys, out there that'll help propel your business. Some of it will actually can put your business on autopilot, can do various different things that's not so manual. So we want to talk about this evening. What do you have already down or goals that you're going to do new in 2022?
Oh, this is going to be amazing. If you thought that our 2021 content was awesome, you have yet to see what we have for you in store. So we're going to take a quick break and not necessarily a break. We're going to play a video for you to encourage you. And then the next voice you will see after us will be that of Stephen Wick. Thank you guys for watching. And Eden, thank you for watching. We did see your comment. Happy New Year. We look forward to seeing you hopefully soon. So, all right, guys, we'll see you up in a few minutes. And we are back here with Dinner with the Coaches with our special guest, Stephen Wick. And we are glad. Thank you for each and every one of you that are watching. If you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new video. If you are watching us via Facebook, make sure you click like and share if you have enjoyed the content that you have been seeing with us here on Dinner with the Coaches. So let's have dinner.
All right, all right. Well, again, like I said, we're going to talk this evening with our very, very dear, very good friend of ours, Mr. Stephen Wicks. He has a company in the business, that gets some businesses together. It's called Black Business List. Heavily into technology, the latest and greatest technology. So what we're going to talk about is what we're going to do new in 2022, utilizing those tools and technology. So, Steve, why don't you give our audience a little bit of information about yourself, and we could dive right in.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to be here today. Really enjoying your show. The vibe is a great vibe, great energy. And Lord knows we need that, especially going into this year. Hopefully this year be better than last, right?
Yeah, for real.
But so I love technology. I've been playing around with computers since 1997. My wife, showed me something on the computer, and I got hooked, and been sitting down at the computer ever since, just playing around with code and learning different technologies and videography and graphic design, all of that good stuff. And so I started a website called blackbusinesslist.com. This was quite a few years ago. And we've got about 1,400 businesses in it right now from around the country. And it's a Black business directory, as you might imagine. But we're really moving into being a full-fledged organization with a lot of different services that can help those businesses grow. So we also started a network, BBL TV network, that is designed to be a platform for our members to go and take their talents and put it on video. So, that and technology and websites and just playing around with whatever I can put my hands on. I'm the kind of guy that used to walk around Radio Shack. I don't know if you remember Radio Shack.
Yeah, back in the days.
I used to just walk around Radio Shack and try to see what's new, So that's the kind of guy I am. I love technology. So, but thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So kind of what made you get into actually kind of pulling together businesses? Because, you felt, or did you feel that there was something that was missing where business wasn't linking up, together to kind of for a larger cause? So kind of what made you go into that area?
So they actually started it back in 1997. So the internet was really new back then. And I saw the internet as an opportunity to really connect people, through this medium that people, a lot of people just didn't know.
Yeah.
You could level the playing field and open up a web store and look just as long as you had graphic design skills, your website could look just as good as the other folks who had, millions of dollars to spend. So I saw it as a great equalizer and a level playing field. And I wanted us to be able to find each other online. So I created one of the first Black business directories, actually. And you can verify this. You can go back. There's a tool called the Wayback Machine.
Wow.
And you can type any domain in the Wayback Machine, Facebook, Google, all of that. And you can see what that website looks, as far back as it can go. And so you can find, it's not pretty, but, it was really basic back then. But my website has been around since back then. So, we've been doing this for quite a while.
Wow. Okay. That's good. What type of businesses do you highlight inside of there? Is it a particular genre, technology, information? How does that work?
Yeah, no, there are many different categories. It's just, just like you would find you remember the Green Book, where it was just many different types of businesses. As long as it was minority Black owned, you could find it in there. Blackbusinesslist.com is the same way. We've got everything, from e-commerce stores to, car dealerships and, just about any type of business you can think of is represented inside the directory.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So when we talk about 2022, Stephen. Right, new year, new beginnings. Right, top of the order. Like, what are some leading edge, innovative tools that you may want to be able to share with individuals that can help enhance their businesses?
Well, first, I would say that if you're in business, you need to get comfortable doing what we're doing right now with video.
Mm.
Um, I think that's the last 2 years. I think it has shown anybody paying attention that you have to learn how to communicate when you can't physically be in a place with a person selling a product or making a demonstration or even just making a business deal. You know, we got shut down for a while, and if those people who did not invest in technologies like video and getting comfortable being behind the camera, knowing
Mm.
how to add lights and so that people can see you and you don't look, crazy on the Zoom call and things like that, that's where you start. There's some big things coming up for those who are paying attention. This thing called the metaverse. Facebook just changed its name to Meta. That's a big clue in terms of what's coming next. But start right now with video. Get very comfortable with that. You can, I mean, really scale up what you're doing and be in 2, 3, 4 places at one time just using video as opposed to trying to be there in person. That would be one of the big things I would say.
Okay. So I know, Nadira is big with StreamYard. Are there any other particular ones out there where individuals can kind of research or investigate?
Yeah, there are big 3 that I like, StreamYard
Okay.
being the strong one. And I love things, I love some things about all 3 of them, but I would
Okay.
say StreamYard, Restream, and Ecamm. If you have a
Mm.
Mac, I would definitely say Ecamm. I'm actually using Ecamm right now, and we're broadcasting through StreamYard, but um, Restream is another strong brand as well. I have all 3, so I mean, most people would not have all 3. You would just pick one, but I'm a power user, so I love different things about each one of them. So those are the 3 in terms of video.
Hmm.
Yeah, along with getting comfortable with Zoom because many of your business meetings, those folks will be using Zoom, so you want to be comfortable with that too if you have to be on that platform.
All right. Awesome. Mr. Dira, anything to
Yeah,
add?
yeah, I definitely would have to agree because, and I think the more often you use starting out, you may want to pick one to get familiar with.
Sure.
And I definitely will definitely highlight StreamYard as a for beginners, because it's very versatile, it's user friendly, and it doesn't require a lot, but it's just almost like a plug and play. You just sign up. There's no downloading of equipment or software to install. It's
Mhm.
just it's all web based, simple. With a little bit of creativity, you can get a lot of things done through StreamYard. But the more you are active, if you are doing content on a regular basis, especially if you're YouTubing or Facebooking now with the way things are changing, not only do you have to up your game with more than one, I would like to also add OBS. I like OBS also. I like OBS because OBS gives you, for the content creator that wants a lot of lights, cameras, and things floating around on the to make it look like an actual news media. OBS
Mhm.
gives you that opportunity to do that if you are skilled in knowing how to. It can be. I wouldn't suggest OBS for the basic user, for a first time user, because it's more like starting out with one camera with a photographer, and then the more skilled you get more advanced cameras. OBS is very, it's free. It doesn't cost anything to download. It does take up a lot of room. It does require a certain amount of bandwidth, because if not, it'll start glitching. So I would definitely say, make sure that you have a really strong internet, that you get the highest bandwidth possible, because these, even with all of these programs, whether you're on the Mac or a computer, Macs are a little bit easier because their operating system, just to me, just runs smoother. But sometimes you do have those glitches, so I would definitely have to say, starting out, StreamYard, but the more advanced you get, you can use a combination. StreamYard allows you to stream to so many different platforms. So the more you do it, the more advanced you get. You start to be like what Steven says. I happen to have several of them. I have Ecamm, I did have Restream, but I haven't used it. But I like to have it there because when you're doing regular broadcasts, if something happens, you want to have multiple things lined up.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, and I would, I forgot about OBS because once I moved to Mac, I started using Ecamm. But yeah, definitely the OBS will give you just in terms of creativity, like you said,
Mhm.
um, just when you want to step up your game a little bit and make your presentation stand out a little more. Sure.
Hmm. Now, Stephen, I know I've been on several conferences of yours that you've done. I know you've done a lot of conferences in that, even with New Birth in that church area, as well as on a business side as well. So can you kind of help our listening audience determine or talk to them about the kind of behind the scenes in terms of, because myself and Nadira are coaches, right? So we sometimes talk to a lot of individuals. So what are some tips that you can talk to us about in terms of setting up a virtual conference? Because I know you've done plenty of them.
Well, so I guess let's go with simplicity and ease of use. All right. So
Okay.
she's already mentioned StreamYard. One of the benefits of StreamYard is that they're owned by a company called Hopin. They were purchased by Hopin. And Hopin is an event platform, right? So you can create a virtual conference and StreamYard is integrated directly inside of Hopin. So if you learn how to use StreamYard, you can create a virtual conference with Hopin and it's just seamless how it all works together. So you can have tickets you can sell, virtual tickets. As a matter of fact, Hopin has a component where they also do hybrid events. So if you did have a conference where you wanted to go to a hotel, do a conference, and you also wanted to stream some of it, they can help you do that hybrid where you have some people watching at home and then you have other people in person with you at your venue and Hopin is really great for that as well. So StreamYard, I would say, is a good platform to start off with, especially if you want to do events where you sell tickets and uh, have you can play games and all kinds of things on that platform. So it's pretty cool.
Okay. So is Hopin, is that a subscription based? How does that work? How do you get connected with that?
It is. They do have a free tier where
Okay.
you can
Mhm.
create events and do things at that free level. I think I forget what the limits are, but yeah, you can definitely do a decent size virtual event just with the free option. Um,
Mm,
and then as you want to scale up, and do a little more, you can do that uh, when the
okay.
time is right.
Okay. Wow. So now let's talk about. I see you have a nice microphone there. Like, is there any particular piece of equipment that one should have in order to make sure that the audience can hear you, see you, things of that nature?
Yeah. So if we're talking about video, um, a lot of the platforms, the first thing I would start off with is toss up. Some people say microphone is sound is most important, and others say the picture image is more important. But they're both pretty important because if I don't know if you've seen a good picture, like you're scrolling on your phone, you see a good picture, but then you can't hear them or they sound really
Hmm.
bad, that
Yeah.
turns people off, and people's they don't have a lot of patience like they used to, so they'll just click off or keep scrolling right past your content. You could have great
Mhm.
content, but if you don't look good on, if you're not going to make me stop to pay attention, then it really doesn't matter if your content is great or not because nobody's looking at it. So, um, invest in a good microphone. I would
Hmm.
probably say most microphones on computers are terrible. Um,
Hmm.
I would just get. I mean, I've got several that I've purchased, but you can get an external microphone and plug it into your computer, and that's
Gotcha.
going to help you up the game. You've got lapel mics that you can buy. You can get a lapel mic and put it, and it makes it a little bit better sound because you place it right here, and then it's a better sound than you trying to reach your laptop's microphone. It's just not going to sound as well. It's good. Lights. I have two lights here,
Okay.
and I have lights back here. I can set the mood, and they're called practical lights in the back. So, if I wanted to go more blue, I don't know if you saw that
Yeah.
there. You can go red. You can
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
have different. And I've got two practicals on the side here too that change color as well. Those are called RGB lights. Um,
Mm.
you can get some RGB lights. Um, so yeah, it's just different things that you can do. Like we were talking earlier, like this microphone that I've got a mixer to go with it, so that I can just change up my voice. So it's kind of interesting, you know. Um,
Or, you sound like a baby if you want to. Like Stephen A from ESPN. You kind of mix it up a little bit.
so,
I
there's
love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I
yeah.
love
Then
that.
there's another thing you can do. Somebody like Eden's laughing at me in your comments, but but there's another thing, and that's something else. We need to make it fun, right? When we're on, depending
Yes.
on what you're doing. Sometimes these Zoom calls, people get zoomed out, they get a little bored, and you might want to,
Mhm.
just kind of mix it up a little bit, and make it fun. So there's something called Snap Camera. I don't know.
Oh,
Mm.
Are you
yeah.
familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay, so if you use Snap Camera, you can just change up your
Yes.
whole look, right? So you could, I mean, maybe you told a little fib or something, and you tell a little fib, and like Pinocchio. Uh-oh,
Wow.
there's this Shrek one. You know what I mean? You can just turn into Shrek. You
Wow.
know, I mean,
Technology, incredible.
yes, yes, yes. So you can do all kinds of things. Just have fun, switch it up a little bit. All using artificial intelligence to make all these animations. And actually, this
Mhm.
is called AR, right?
Okay.
Mm.
Augmented reality. So I'm the reality,
Mm.
and
Mm.
then this little mustache here is the augmented part of the reality, right? So yeah, that's all it's doing. Just allowing you to have a little fun and be a little different.
Zoom has something similar. It just it that where I've heard about the Snap also. I actually downloaded a couple times because sometimes what happens is when you're doing productivity, sometimes there's so many. It's almost like a video game. There's so many additional pieces and things, and each software comes with different things. It's like you said, you have to figure out which one is going to be effective for what you're doing because you can get lost. But Zoom does have allow you to add features to, especially for those that may feel insecure in doing videos and may feel like I don't look right on camera.
Hmm.
I don't think I'm gonna this, or I'm worried about my skin. I have blemish issues. There's different things incorporated in these softwares that will help, if you have skin issues or any, insecurities in the areas of that. So
Well, you. I don't want to jump ahead of the conversation, but you bring up a very interesting point in that in the future, in the very near future, I would say 10 years or so, how you are represented. You're going to be. You know how some people say, um, when they say, "What's your pronoun?" What? Oh, I go as he, or I go as she, or people are choosing their pronouns now, right? I mean, that's what's happening in society. And in the future, you'll be able to, maybe I do want to, whenever I interact with you, I only want to be seen like this. And so whenever you see me, whenever we meet online, this is what I look like. So now what does that mean?
Hmm.
That means that if I had filters on and I wanted to maybe lighten up my complexion or smooth out some blemishes, I can do that. And you would never know. If I came on first like this, you might be like, man, that guy's got a big mustache, right? And the
Hmm.
technology is going to get better and better. It's going to look more and more realistic as we go along. So people will have the option of just appearing kind of how they want to, and nobody will be the wiser because we're all meeting online or, people, that whole show Catfish is about people who meet and have these relationships and they've never actually met in person. They've all just
Hmm.
seen each other, virtually. I mean, through the computer. So
it's That's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to get real interesting. Trust me,
Yeah.
it's going to get very, very interesting in society.
I saw a
But
cat.
let's get to the video now.
I saw a TikTok video with something what you said. Now I'm realizing that's what that is. It was a TikTok video of a lady. She had like her face was like looking like a catfish, and her husband walked in the room and was like, and she turned around. It was hilarious. Like her face was like she had like this, like she said she was dressed like a catfish, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And she was like, "Sorry, honey, I'm dressed like a catfish," but it was hilarious. Because she had did something like what you did, like, but she had like dressed up and like covered her face and stuff. So
Yeah.
Wow.
It's gonna get freaky.
Yeah,
that's scary.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. You know, well, right after the break, when we come back, we kind of gotta go a little bit deeper. We're gonna dive into how can these things that we talked about in the first segment actually help us and advance us in the business realm, right? In the marketplace, right? Ultimately, to be in a position to continuously create great content, Stephen, right? Give great value, and then ultimately convert those things into clients, right? Because that's the advantage when you understand how to utilize these tools that we're talking about. How can we utilize those things to enhance our business, right? To be out there almost omnipresent, that, you know, we always talk about in different areas, right? You first talked about different platforms. What platforms are we streaming on, right? So we could be at multiple places, but then also continuously give great content, right? Add value, and then convert those individuals over to clients. So right after the commercial break, we'll be back to get a little bit deeper with Mr. Stephen Wicks.
I want you to remember that God's created everything you see. He breathed it into existence. You remember when his people were caught up in slavery? He rescued them. What he did was he parted the sea, and he made a way for them, and then he delivered their enemies to them, and he unlocks wombs, and he provides water from a rock, and he provides manna from heaven, and he brought down the walls of Jericho. He froze the sun, allowing victory. He's toppled giants with tiny stones. He's brought fire from heaven. He's shut the mouths of lions. He preserved life in the belly of a well. He's fed thousands with a few loaves. He gives the weak strength. He heals the sick. He's made the blind see, the deaf hear, the mute speak, the lame walk, and he's overcome evil, and he's made a way through death for you and me by the death and the resurrection of his son, Jesus Christ, that we will live with him forever. We will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever and ever and ever. What are we afraid of? His resume is flawless. He controls everything. And he loves you.
Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? $1 or something. Get you $1 or something. Something. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? $1 or something. Get you $1 or something. Something. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? $1 or something. Get you $1 or something. Something. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? $1 or something. Get you $1 or something. $1 or something. Something. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go?
And we are back here with Dinner with the Coaches with my host, with my co-host, Thomas Taylor, the third visionary coach, and our amazing guest, Stephen Wick. Thank you so much for joining us here on Dinner with the Coaches. If you've missed out on the first half, make sure you watch the replay. If you are watching us live, make sure you put some comments in. Let us know where you're watching from and let us know what technology tools you're using in your business. Coach Thomas?
All right. So again, appreciate everybody tuning in.
Yes.
First half, we kind of talked about, different tools of technology. This segment, we kind of get a little bit deeper, Stephen. You and I, we have deep conversations about society and how individuals move. And I've noticed in the last 2 years since the pandemic, our business models had to change, right? So the regular conventional way we did business and the way business was ran had to change. So if you didn't move, if you didn't shift, you almost got left behind. And you talk about tools and technology, and it sounds like you're always on a cutting edge of tools, right? So from a business standpoint, right, you have your business model. You also have the Black business list that we talked about. So from a business standpoint, right, what are some of the things that you've experienced where you realize you had to shift in order to really stay ahead of the curve from a business standpoint? So what have you experienced, Stephen?
Well, I would say, since you're giving me this platform, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about how important it is for many of us to learn automation and how we can use software to be more efficient and more effective. And that's everything from writing a business plan. There are softwares out there that can help you write a business plan, a comprehensive business plan, where you used to really have to connect with a consultant. Now the software, you can talk, it'll ask you questions, you answer the questions, and it will spit out a comprehensive business plan. And it's important for you to know what you're doing, because you can get lost out here in these streets, saying that you're an entrepreneur, but you don't have a plan. You don't have a solid plan. So start there. Start with the softwares. How can I use email effectively? We all use email, but I guarantee you there are many business people that don't use it to its full capacity. What you can have a sales funnel and use automated messages going out representing you and your company, and having engagement with your customers. All those things, those are technologies that people got to get into. You got to learn about it. Do a little research. Don't let it intimidate you. There's a lot of YouTube videos and free resources. LinkedIn has a learning platform where you can pay one certain amount and get access to all the courses from all these professionals. Udemy is another platform where they have a similar product where you pay one fee and get access and just learn about all these different things. You utilize the tools that are there. When someone asks me something, I don't know how to do this, and I'm looking at them like, there's this thing called Google now, where it's like you literally can find out how to do anything. It's I try to be a little understanding of people, but really it's just like there's never been a better time to be a student. I remember when I was going to college at Savannah State, and I was having problems with one of my classes, and the instructor sent me to computer lab. That's what they called it. It was like a room with some computers in it, and I had to go there to learn a little bit more about the subject. You know what computer lab is today? Your phone, right?
Yeah.
Like you can Google anything. And so you utilize the technology, find out what successful people are doing in your space, whatever industry you're in, and model that. Don't be trying to reinvent the wheel when there's this is the information age. And all you've got, somebody just said the University of Google, right? So it's like, there's really no excuse, really. And I have to tone myself down because I get a little, excited about when I talk about stuff like this. But,
it's all right.
Bam, do the research, just Google it. like whatever you're looking for, it's there. Like just slow down, take your time, and research this stuff and learn about it because especially now for those folks who are like 50 plus and you're still in the workplace. Now, if you've retired, fine, do you. But if you're still in the workplace and you're 50 plus, you 40 something, about to hit 50, please don't get a reputation of somebody who acts like they can't understand technology. Those folks are going to see you as just like the bottom of the totem. These guys, these newer people that they hire and they come out of college and they know all the tools and everything. And you're like, what about this TikTok thing? I don't understand. You're going to just age yourself right out of your career, like really quickly.
For real, that's facts.
Yeah. So, just delve into it. I think I got a little sidetracked with your question. I hope I answered some of it.
No, it's fine. And just in terms of your experience in terms of business based upon the last 2 years where, a lot of businesses are popping up, in terms of virtual. So I'm just talking about, your experience in that, based upon the pandemic and the situation that we're currently in. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, and it's, hey, I mean, they're trying to figure out where all these people at. Like there are restaurants who can't open up. They don't have enough people.
Yeah.
A lot of people just left the workforce and they're doing the gig economy and they're creating their own businesses and doing their own thing. And I mean, people are just kind of waking up, I think, and taking the cobwebs loose and understanding how easy it can be to start a business. And but it's not just about starting it; it's about starting it right, having a good plan, having access to capital. All those things are still there, but there are a lot of tools that will help you, especially because many of us, to be honest, when you look at the statistics, many of us are solopreneurs. There are a lot of so-called small businesses that are just one person, right? They call it a business, but really they're just self-employed. And so when you're self-employed, it's important that you know every little tool that can help you be more efficient and that can help you scale your business. Otherwise, you're just going to become a frustrated business owner. You might as well just get a job. At least you get vacation and because it's a lot of work trying to run a business, especially if you're by yourself. So be smart.
Yeah.
Definitely not for the faint in heart. I can tell you that much. It takes most people when you're at your job, everything is laid out for you. When you have to be an entrepreneur or solopreneur, it's work. It's constant work being put involved in thinking. This is the age now where, we don't like to think. We want everything. We're used to everybody telling us what to do. Nowadays, we have to get better. I believe at storytelling. Being able to even in using these tools, if you don't get better at your craft and storytelling, then these tools are not going to do any well, because you can have all the best tools, but if you don't know how to tell your story, if you don't know how to use your creativity along with these tools to tell your story in a way, that's why a lot of people have watched the commercial that I did with different coaches, with Thomas and I and other coaches, talking and giving the preference of listening to somebody saying, I need help. Telling a story, you have to get proficient and being able to know, okay, this is my story. This is my story to tell. And this is the tools and technology that I have to tell that. Before you can sit down and sit down next to them and tell them, this is what I do. This is my business card. Now your business card is your story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And, just going one level deeper is understanding, the things that Stephen as well as Indira talked about, but understanding your why, like what's driving you to go into business, right? Is there a gift that you feel you have? Have you discovered your destiny, right? And the reason why that's important in this last, 15, 20 minutes, we can dig deep into it, is because when life hits, right, when those obstacles hits, what's going to anchor you? What's going to hold you and pull you through, right? Because you can quit at any time, right? You can just throw your hands up and give up and walk away. Nobody will say anything, right? They're not going to call you. They're not going to ask you to come back. They're not going to do anything, right? That's why, for me, my theme for this year is persistence. Why? Because for me, persistence got me where I am today, right? And I think along the way, I may have gotten a little bit distracted or not focused, because when life hit, I kind of looked at life, right? I didn't keep focus on my why, the driver, the purpose, right? The unction that's inside of every single one of us, right? That pushes us, that drives us to be persistent. Why? Because I was once told, when you understand certain things and you know where you're going, persistence overrides resistance. There's gonna be resistance, right? So just think about it, Stephen. You've been married for quite a couple of years. How'd you get your lovely bride? You was persistent, because I'm sure she told you no at one time or another. But that no didn't stop you, though, right? Most men know how to be persistent about what they want, their desires, right? So no, what does that do? No just gets you started. Not because you're going to get no, you're going to get a rejection, but it doesn't stop you from obtaining that bride. It doesn't stop you from obtaining that goal, right? So talk about it a little bit, Stephen, about persistent and the obstacles that come in between that. Because, I can go.
Well, I mean, in terms of business, persistence is everything. I mean, because you just simply can't quit. I mean, if you care about it enough, I think you have to connect with, like you said, you have to connect with, why are you doing this? And I see a lot of people that quit way too soon. They quit right before they were going to have their breakthrough. And we can't determine. There's a S, Stephen Wicks, by the way. It's a S.
Okay.
Yeah, just want people, in case they're trying to reach me. I don't know what you're gonna get.
Is that under Wix? Is Wix on both the name and the site, right?
On both.
Okay.
On both.
Okay.
But yeah, you got to connect with your why, because that's going to, like you said, be that thing that pushes you to completion, right? You can't just start. Folks, I don't know if you realize the statistics of how many businesses. I put it to you this way: none of the people that were there in the beginning in my directory are there now, except me, right? Because we start businesses and we don't give it half the attention that it really deserves in terms of nurturing it, and then we just move on. And we're doing that as a culture as well, because divorce is really high. Because where is our commitment to the thing that we said that we wanted? Like you said, we can want something, but what is the purpose that you wanted? Because that'll determine how long you stick with it until you get to your destination and your purpose, right? So it's like, be careful of what you think you want, what you ask for, and everything. Just live a significant life. Do stuff that matters to you. Those are the people I see that stick around, when you can tell that they're in it for the right reasons. I'm doing this for the right reasons, and don't let it burn you out. A lot, and you got to understand there's a difference between being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, and being self-employed. And too many people get it confused, and so they start a business when in actuality they're just self-employed, and they get burnt out. That's why I said, if you got a business and you're doing all the work, you're wearing 1,000 hats and you're never getting a break. Your wife or your spouse has never seen you. You're not making enough money. You don't take any vacations. That doesn't sound like a pretty successful life, right? That sounds like somebody who's going to eventually get burned out. And so you got to analyze, what is it that you want. If you just want to do a job, if I just like cutting grass, then maybe you just need to really find a good employer and cut grass. But if you want to have your own business and something you can scale and have employees and be, contributing to your community in that way, that's a business owner. But if you just like, look, I don't want nobody to bother me, I just want to do my thing, I want to, then that's a whole nother level, right? You got to know where you fit in in terms of being an entrepreneur, so that you can make the right decisions. Right? That's so important. Because sometimes people get started in this thing and they're like, man, I got all this paperwork. I'm not really doing what I really love to do. It's like I got to do all these other things, and that's not what I got to start this business for. I'm like, well, perhaps you shouldn't have started. You got to really put a lot of thought on the front end of this thing, because think about it. How many marriages get ruined because I sank all of our money into this thing I said that I wanted, and then it's not successful. I'm not sticking with it. And now we don't have the money. And now you're resentful because I said I wanted it really bad. I said, baby, we're going to take this money. I know we said we're going to blah, blah, blah. We're going to take this money. I'm going to invest in this thing and it's going to be great. And you didn't plan well enough, didn't have enough capital, don't have enough passion for it. And so now that money's gone, and now that respect for you is gone from your spouse. It happens a lot.
Wow.
Happens a
Yeah.
lot. I don't know how does. Did we just get dark?
Nah, we just went deep. We just went deep.
True.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just stuff that people need to hear because it's
Yeah.
real. Go ahead, Mr. Nadira.
I think too, most people, I was talking about this on the New Year's Eve end of the celebration with Sisterhood Check-In. And one of the things that I said is that a lot of people have hobbies, and you have to know when a hobby is a business, because you can enjoy it. You can have a gift to do many different things, and you can enjoy doing a lot of different things. I was watching a video where this guy, it was on Lewis Howes, I think it was, and he was interviewing a guy, and he said, well, he said he was talking to somebody. I think it was, I forgot who it was. He was talking to somebody, and he said the person that was interviewing him said, how do you know what it is that you're supposed to do? He said, pick 10 things you like to do. And out of those 10 things, take 5 things that you're passionate about. And out of those 5 things, take write down out of those 5 things which things you just can't sleep because it's always constantly ruling in your head. And he said, and everything else is just either a hobby or a distraction. And I thought about that, and I said, that's true, because in the beginning, everybody's excited. When you hear the thought of creating a business, everybody's excited. Oh yeah, because they see you and they say, oh, I want to be like this. I want to do that. I see him or her doing it and I want to be like that. And what they don't really understand is that you see an hour of maybe 3 or 4 days of work that has been done already ahead of time. These videos take a lot to create. So you're looking at a video in an hour, you see the lights, camera, and action, not realizing that it takes 3 days to do one broadcast sometimes. And so you have to really do your due diligence and really look at the bottom line. If you're using business to help people or to tell your story to help people, you have to figure out what arena works for you. If you're going to use the video and the technology and everything that's involved, you can't always be in front of the cameras, lights, and action and not have to do the work behind it, because the real work behind it will determine if this is something that you really want to do. I mean, we've been doing this how long for Thomas? Like 6 months now?
Yeah.
Like 6 months. We're almost mid-year. And our passion and our desire to see change in other businesses and to see them come through a lot of the dead zones and the curves, because you got a lot of people. I don't see many shows that speak directly to business owners or aspiring business owners, giving them tools like what we're doing, bringing people on, giving them tools, because a lot of people want business. A lot of people want to do it. They aspire to do it. They just don't know where to start. They don't know what do you do. So I say, count the cost. Do the research and really look at, because it takes time. It's not, and just because you see an hour show does not mean that it only takes an hour to do this. This is 3 days work before time, showing up in an hour.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%. People, they really don't understand the work that goes behind. I think most people understand the analogy of like, what's the boy's name? Basketball player just got all those threes. Curry.
Oh, Steph Curry.
Stephen Curry. Like, how much he practices. Like, you see him on the court, he's making the threes and it looks flashy and great. But the man spent hours and hours and years to get to the point where he can just stop and shoot and hit it. And it looks easy, looks simple, but wow, the work that went behind that. And so that's a lot of us, you know, the people who want to start businesses, they see the business owner and they're like, man, it looks like they're having a lot of fun. It's like probably pulling their hair out. So yeah, it's but you got to have you got to be doing it for the right reason, and that way you'll persevere through all of the ups and downs that you go through.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, I just kind of wrote down a little note and I just said, sharpening your craft, right? Because that's so important, right? Like, so we have these desires, we have these goals, and some of those things we do well at. But how do we sharpen those things that we do well, right? So again, you know, I use myself as an example. There we had a coach, Sean Rais, he was our coach. And before Nadira got involved, around this time last year, he challenged us to go live. I kind of talked about this morning in my Facebook Live. He just challenged us because he said, if you're in business, whatever your business is, then people should know about it. Right. And I was a coach. I've been a life coach for years, but I didn't really have the business side of it. So he just challenged us to go live. So, you know, I picked 2 days, like a Sunday and a Thursday. Right. I think I went live first February 2nd. Wow. It's almost coming up for a year. And I'm telling you guys, like the first time I did it, man, I mean, I was, you know, my throat was all dry. I didn't have no water. Now I realize why he always has water next to him, man. Like just talking in front of a camera and talking to people, like, who does that? And why would they do that? You know what I mean? But I did it though, right? Whether fear or whatever was stopping me, I still did it in spite of. Why? Because I felt that I have a gift to inspire people, to help people, right? So I did it. First one was kind of choppy. But I stayed with it. I got all types of phone calls. I should do this. I should do that. Just sharpening my craft, right? To the point now where I don't get too many phone calls about different things. You know, when I get phone calls like how well I'm doing, because I just got progressively better, more relaxed, more refined, better. But I wasn't afraid though. Like I took the challenge, right? And that's kind of where we are in terms of business, right? Like, you know, we got to get past the fear of what people think, what people might say, right? Because business, you help sharpen your craft. And why is that important? That's important because at the end of the day, what we do ultimately is not for us. It's for those people that our creator has connected us to, right? I see you jumping at the bit, Stephen. You can jump it in a minute. But that's very important. But I stayed with it, you guys. Just stayed with it. Just stayed with it. Right? All different types of comments. Now, you know, the goal for me is to move those individuals to different programs that help them on another level. Continues to provide, you know, good content for free, but then move those individuals who need a little bit more assistance to different packages, right? Because it's just a gift that I have. Stephen, you want to go ahead and jump in?
No, you guys, you know, first of all, man, this is great being here with the coaches. This is crazy. I don't want to go to the end. I don't know how much longer we got. I want to stay here all night. This is crazy.
Oh gosh, I know the feeling. Yes.
This is what we do.
You know what I think? You know what I think too? I think, you know, and I'll let you go ahead and talk, Stephen, but I just want to say this while it's in my head. We have to realize before we get perfected in all of this technology, you have to get clear in clarity, because priority brings clarity. You know, when you prioritize your vision on what you want to do, we can't get most of the time we want to learn all the technology before we even get clear on what we're supposed to do. And once we become clear on what it is that we're supposed to do, the technology part comes and adds to. The technology doesn't replace the work that needs to be put in place, so that when you get before people, it doesn't mean what good is it to have all the technology if you're still not clear? You're going to waste money, because with a lot of these technology, with these softwares and stuff, it costs. And I'm telling you, I'm one of them that spent hundreds of dollars a month on technology that I did absolutely nothing with because there was no clarity on what I want to do. I just know I wanted to talk. I just know I was called to do different things. I didn't know it was called coaching. And so I wasted in the beginning a lot of resources. And that's what happens when you don't prioritize and get clarity on exactly what it is that you're going to be giving people help in. If you're not clear on that, technology is just going to be, it's going to frustrate you. Go ahead, Stephen.
Ooh, boy, the coaches are bringing that fire tonight. Tell you what, boy. I mean, absolutely, absolutely. I was sitting here thinking, get clear. It just kept clarity, get clear, get clear. I kept, resonating with me. Um, earlier today, I was thinking about how to, communicate this to people. But if you think about Chick-fil-A, a lot of people know Chick-fil-A. I know you got a worldwide audience, and they've been. But Chick-fil-A, this huge restaurant, they sell chicken sandwiches. All right. What would happen if you walk into Chick-fil-A and say, "I want a hamburger"?
Tell you to go down the street.
Yeah, they're not going to just go in the back and whip up a hamburger, right? Because they're like, "I'm sorry, sir, we sell chicken sandwiches." Many of us, when we start businesses and we think we have clarity on what we're doing, we get swayed because we start to get external forces saying, "Hey, why don't you do this? I know you're doing videography, but I need some pictures. Do you do photography? Do you take still photos?" And you're like, "I guess I could." And people are asking for it, so maybe I should add photography to it.
Hmm.
And so now, all of that work you talked about, how behind the scenes people don't see the work. Now you got to learn how to take photos at a professional level. You may have already learned how to do videography at a professional level. Now that energy that you could have been using to get more videography clients, you're now putting behind something totally different because an external force came to you and said, "Hey, why don't you do such and such?" Chick-fil-A don't just say, "Well, dog, we got to learn how to make these hamburgers." I mean, people are asking for it. They are clear about what they do and what they do well and what their mission is. We sell the best possible chicken sandwich that we can. And it doesn't matter if I go in and ask for a hamburger. Now, if they decide later on to do that, they'll make that business decision, but they're clear about what we do on a daily basis. And so I think a lot of people make a lot of mistakes because they start just, they're all over the place and they never work their craft. That word that you said earlier, they never get to that point where they become an expert so they can impact people positively and then have a story and then tell that story. This is what I did for this person. That's what a testimonial is. That's why businesses that have testimonials on their website do better because people are like, "Well, they did that for them. Maybe they can do that for me." So the more people you help and the more you go live, do videos, and demonstrate to people, "This is what I did. This is what I can do." That's when your business starts to take off because people see the evidence of your work, and you can work in the place where you have excellence and not just okay. Like you're learning all these new things and you're trying to do all these new things, and you're just okay at everything. It was the phrase a jack of all trades and a master of none. You have to become a master at what you do so that people can recognize your value, and then that's when your business will take off.
Yeah.
Unless you're Walmart. If you just want to just be okay at everything and just do a lot, like we sell a lot of things that are just okay. And if that's your strategy, but it goes back to what is your strategy? Go back to getting that clarity in the beginning. So because once you get involved and you quit your job and you say, "I'm in business," let me tell you, you got to bring the money in, or your spouse is going to be looking at you like, "What
Yeah.
are you doing? What are you doing again?"
And that Chick-fil-A was a good analogy because you remember when Popeyes all of a sudden came out with their chicken sandwich and it was that mass hysteria.
Yeah.
I mean, Chick-fil-A didn't blink. They just stayed the course, right? Then the hype went away, then it came back. But Chick-fil-A lines were still long. Popeye lines were long for a moment, right? You go to Popeyes right now and go get a chicken sandwich, right? Well, guess what? It's Sunday. Chick-fil-A's closed. Go there tomorrow and see what happens. The line is the same long line as it was from Monday through Saturday. Popeyes, you go right now and get whatever you want. See, it was a flash in the pan, but they stayed focused because they understood their reasoning as to why they're in the business that they're in. To your point, Stephen. Wow. Well, it's the top of the hour. It is the top of the hour. It is the top of the hour.
We always like that when it comes to this show is so full. It's like at the end of I'll be like getting like so antsy. I'll be like when I look at the clock, I'll be like, no, because we're like that at every show because it's we made sure Thomas and I made sure that we make sure that this broadcast is full of content. And so that people can, because what happens is you give people a taste, they come back for more. They'll keep coming back because they enjoy and because it's applicable. They can apply. What it's difficult when you're paying or trying to get advice from different things and you're only getting a little bit. But when you come somewhere and we're giving you content and it's applicable, it's something you could do now to apply to your business. People are excited about that. I said it, and I say this. I want to say this before we go to our next commercial break. Before we end, one thing we have to realize is that we have to take time. We have to take advantage of the time and season that we're in, right? The time and season that we're in because of the fact that back then, you had to go through so much to be an entrepreneur. It was not easy to be an entrepreneur back then. It was hard to even run a business, let alone be an entrepreneur. You had to, there was no money involved unless you were doing something really lucrative. We live in a day and a time now where if you have an idea, all you need is an internet, a phone, and an idea, and that's it. And you can make money. Do you know that DoorDash has now, I remember a friend of mine was doing a couple of years ago, was trying to open up restaurants, trying to get restaurants to partner, people that knew how to cook from home, right? And wanted to get to do what's called a shared kitchen, where everybody come together and they cook in that kitchen. And it's still popular now. They share kitchens and they cook whatever it is and they offer, they sell their food throughout that restaurant from a certain day or time frame. Now DoorDash has it to where you could get on DoorDash and be a home restaurant and people can buy your food and you don't even have to spend the money on the marketing because the marketing it's like Amazon. DoorDash is the new Amazon for small restaurant owners. I've seen people because I do DoorDash, part-time. And I went to people's houses and I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And to me, that showed me in this day and time, there's no reason why we ought to not be doing what's in our heart. The resources are there. You don't even have to have the money. DoorDash doesn't require you to have money up front to be these merchants on their portal. They do all the advertising. All you have to do is show up. We have softwares that give you 14-day trials that tell you can start with nothing. So now the average mom or family that is going through something, I'm a prime example. I'm a single mom. I'm a widow, and my husband was the main breadwinner, and I had to get creative when he died on how to continue to bring resources. I had already just started my business, but good thing I had did that. Now, doing what I did 10 years ago, doing it now is like a breeze. It's like a breeze now. This is the time. There's no excuses nowadays. We have the resources. We don't even, now it's not a matter of do you have the money? It's do you have the faith? Do you have the will to do it? Because you got a will to do business. I love it. You got to show me how to do that.
Man.
Well, Stephen, we're gonna have to have a part 2.
Yes.
And it might be called "Do You Have the Faith?" So hold on to that one, but we'll go ahead and give you some closing remarks. I know you want to get right in. We're gonna have to do a part 2.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll have to end it. God. Okay.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, folks, she's so right. I mean, and just if you have a passion for business and I don't, it's just so much opportunity out there. I'll leave you with this. Diddy said one time that he couldn't understand people that were broke. Diddy, the rapper, and when he said it, it hit me, and I was like, man, how arrogant is he to just say that he can't, empathize with people who are, quote broke. But I understand now where he was coming from. He was just alluding to the fact that there's abundant opportunity, especially in this country, right? It's opportunity everywhere. We just have to learn how to open our eyes and see it and grab it and know what to do with it. So the challenge for people like me is I'm an idea guy. Like I get an idea like every 2 seconds. And so I have to learn how to, just slow down because I'll try to do everything. I'll try to do them all. And what I really want to learn how to do is help people see possibilities and how to go out and get it. Right. I don't have to do the idea. I just want to help other people get their ideas and get their things going. So that's kind of where I am now. But great content, man. I'm tripping. I can't believe it's about to end the show. This is
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, guys, if you have been watching, Eden also says, we also have a comment from Eden. Eden said, wow, goes by so fast. Great content. Thank you for sharing. You are welcome, Eden. And we look forward to seeing what your business, what you're going to do this year. Also, this is 2022. So make sure that you are diligent. There's a scripture that says, see if a man diligent in his business, he will stand before kings. So if you want to be able to stand and be in position of influence, you have to be diligent in your business. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I want to also acknowledge the other people that are that have been. Eden said, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Eden. We also have a Facebook user that is sending hearts. Thank you for joining us. If you don't give StreamYard permission, we can't actually see who you are. So when we do load our broadcast, make sure you give StreamYard permission to access your profile so that we can see your beautiful face and comments. Eden also said, very true. Google is a university of its own. Missy, thank you for joining us. She says, Happy New Year. Thank you, Missy, for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you that sit with us every day. Oh, well, every week. Oh, gosh. Am I prophesying, Thomas? Like every week, right?
Look at Stephen. He's going to change his portfolio.
I love it. You had to show us how to do that. We appreciate each and every one of you that take time to watch us every week at 7 p.m. Make sure you call up a friend next Sunday and let them know Dinner with the Coaches is on every Sunday at 7 p.m. bringing you fresh and new content to help you with your business. Thomas, did you have any closing remarks?
Hey, I just want to thank Stephen for spending some time with us. I mean, as you can see, the guy has all types of tricks up his sleeves when it comes to technology and as well as business. Like always, it's been a plum-pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. More to come. It's going to be a great year. We're going to do big things this year.
Absolutely. I love it. See you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.